Well, I'm working on a project, helping a business owner that I'm working with, helping him navigate through some difficult people that actually work for him or that he works with. And it brought to mind something that I learned a long time ago. When you're dealing with difficult people, the very best thing is to, number one, not take it personally, which is one of the four agreements. If you've read the book, The Four Agreements, don't take anything personally. Definitely don't take it personally. When difficult people are angry at something, you just happen to be in the line of fire and it isn't you. So you can know that. And then the second thing is respond with listening. Respond with listening. Think about that. Especially when you're being difficult. What do you most like? You like to be heard and not judged. You like to be heard. The more you feel a judgment when you're being difficult, the more difficult you become, because there's something about needing to be understood that most people who are being difficult, or most people who we would call difficult people because they're generally being difficult, right? But it starts with just not taking it personally and then listening so that you can respond. And if they'll allow you to ask questions, that's wonderful. Although understand that sometimes, a lot of times, maybe even most of the time, that someone is in that state or in that condition of operating in life, any communication can be received as antagonistic. So even though you say, well, why do you say that? Or I'm seeking to understand, why do you say that? They'll come back like defensively, right? And the whole idea when you're dealing with difficult people is to just disarm them with love and understanding and receiving them as whole. And even if they blow up and they're still blowing up as they walk away from you, I always bless them, because, I look at people like that and I'm really grateful that I don't carry that weight every day. And so understanding is really huge. Now, when you're employing people and they are difficult, I've been in that situation more than once. When something's flared up in their life, or they've just stayed in a culture or a business environment long enough for the sheen to wear off, so to speak, and then they become disgruntled because that's their pattern. They keep escaping the situation, taking on the next position, working there for, several months, and everything is awesome until they catch up with the situation. Meaning, whenever you swap out a situation, you're bringing yourself with you to that situation. And so a lot of times, when you might see this in your friends, you might see this in a relative, maybe you even see it in yourself, where you cycle, right? You cycle through, you're in a new position and everything is, roses and perfume. And then it gets old. It becomes every day, and people's flat spots start to show, right? Everybody has flat spots. Everybody has warts or, rough patches to their personality. But the biggest thing here is, I'm very big on meeting things with grace and understanding. And the very, very first thing that I would say is just don't take it personally. And when you don't take it personally, it helps you step back and really seek to understand the other person, because you're just open to experiencing them. That's how you can most help people. So be careful how much you communicate, because when you're dealing with a difficult person, any communication can be perceived as antagonistic. But step back. And I mean, I've had to let difficult people go. But even when I let them go, the conversation is such that they understand why they're being let go. And they know that they've consistently chosen to be difficult. And it's just some pattern that they're acting out. And I pretty much have always left those difficult people with a hug. Yeah, with a hug, because, I do bless them to wherever it is that they're moving on to. And me, I bless me to where I'm staying and what I'm creating here. When you have a difficult person in your family, it may not be as simple as that or as easy as that. It actually is that simple, but it may not be that easy because there are family events, and you can't, if you're a business owner, you can replace someone, you can let them go and replace them with someone who you feel is like a better fit for the culture. When you're in a workplace and you don't get to make that call, you just have to show up and deal with people. If you're working with someone who is difficult, sometimes it's hard because you're almost predisposed. You got to watch that you don't program your day, that you're predisposed to. Oh geez, what's he going to do today? Oh goodness, what am I walking in? You have to be really careful to stay in the moment as much as you can and just accept, accept that this is just the way the person is, and maybe find things to appreciate. Put your attention on something about the person that you can appreciate, and limit your exchange and limit your communication exchange. Always smile, especially with your eyes. Smiling through your eyes is a smile that comes from the heart. And I just think that you can navigate things easier just applying these really, really simple relationship principles. We'll be back to talk more on this, but I was called to say this, so I hope someone benefited from the message.